Give us your vantage point now. I talked to you during the dark days. Now it's looking a lot better. As you look out into 2023, what is it looking like to you?
Well, first of all, good to be with you, David. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we're seeing an incredible amount of demand that's continuing. It's been in place for most of this year. We're looking at the upcoming holiday period. It looks very, very strong. Thanksgiving week, we're expecting on Delta to carry over 5 million people. And the Christmas, New Year's holidays also look strong. So I think going into the new year, we're going to continue to see strong demand for our product. People have not been able to quench their thirst from travel over the last 6 months. There's new markets opening. There's new forms of travel being created. Businesses are getting back out on the road. International markets are some of the healthiest markets we're traveling to.
So what about the race, if I can call it that, between prices and people willing to pay? We've got a lot of inflation. That puts pressure on you and your bottom line. Can you raise prices fast enough to really pay the extra costs?
We are. We, in fact, had record-level revenues in our third quarter, despite the fact we only flew about 85% of our capability because we don't have all of our people, fully in category yet. So I think the demand environment is strong. That's what's really driving prices. Of course, you have high fuel prices. They're up about 50% above 2019 levels. That's absorbing some of it. But at the same time, you see the overall level of interest in all demographics of travel. It's baby boomers, it's young millennials, people seeking adventure, it's international, it's new forms of travel through hybrid. Every aspect of travel people are saying, and by the way, they're taking some of the spending that they were putting into goods and they're reallocating it back to experience and investing in themselves. And we don't see that trend changing anytime soon.
And I know that one of your goals has been really to pursue business travel, higher grade travel, I can call it that. If there is a slowdown in the economy, what do you anticipate that might do to that segment of your business?
I don't think it's going to be a garden variety recession if indeed we see one next year, because as you know, David, business travel is usually the first thing that's cut because it's discretionary. You can cut it immediately. It's a lot easier than cutting jobs or cutting other types of costs. But our business has been in a recession for the last couple of years. Businesses have not been spending on travel, and business travel is a very important ingredient to growing businesses and growing their top line, improving the quality of the relationships with their people as well as their customers. And business CEOs certainly and many business leaders haven't been able to get out with their people. So unlike past recessions, I think this is one that people will say, well, we've already saved an awful lot on travel. We actually need travel to get our top line moving again to try to buffet the storms of the recession as compared to saving costs, which candidly are not significant in the environment they've been through the last couple of years.
Ed, as we enter into the very busy travel season surrounding the holidays, how confident are we that there will not be substantial disruptions? Because as the airlines have come back fully online, we've had a lot of disruptions in various places in the United States, but also around the world.
Yeah, the spring was a tough travel period for a lot of us. We went from having our planes only 50% full in the first couple months of the year to over 100% full, if possible, for spring break. And that really caused a tremendous amount of disruption for our customers as well as our own people. At Delta, we pulled back and scaled back our growth ambitions. We're still flying the same level of capacity today, essentially, that we were flying in the summer. In fact, we're even down a little bit from that. And the reliability of Delta is back. The service excellence that our customers expect. We've been operating for the last 3 months now at a completion factor rate of 99.96% of the flight. So if you're planning to travel for the holiday period, I can assure you at Delta we'll be ready for you. We got staffing in place. We got our people excited to see you, and you'll get there on time. We're running over 90% on time for the airline for the last 3 months.
Talk about that staffing in place, and particularly pilots. I know there was a vote that would approve a strike. Doesn't mean there's going to be a strike by the pilots. Where are you on pilots? I know this has been a problem for the airline industry for a while now.
We've hired the pilots we need. We've hired over 2,000 new pilots that have joined us in the last 2 years. It takes time, however, to get them trained and into category because there's a limit on how much training capability and capacity you can pull out at any one time. So our goal by next summer is to be back 100% to our levels that we were flying summer of 2019. So we still have a little bit of time to go. We're already starting to reduce the number of pilots we're hiring. We're getting into more of a steady state environment. And you're right, there will not be any strike. This is a tactic that all of the airline pilot unions, or many of them, have deployed. We've got great pilots. We've got the best in the business. They get paid, well paid, and they're paid the best in our industry. And our goal is to make sure when we get this negotiation done, hopefully soon, that they'll remain, and they will remain, in my opinion, at the very top of the industry in terms of pay.
And as you know, I'm in Washington right now to cover the midterm elections tomorrow. Sorry I'm not there in New York with you. I wish I were. But give us a sense about those elections and what they might mean for Delta, if anything at all. Let's assume, and this is a big assumption, I'm not saying it's going to happen, if in fact the Congress goes Republican, either one or both houses, does that affect Delta Airlines?
It's hard to tell, David. You know, I'm not going to be a political pundit. I think we have gotten accustomed to working with whoever on both sides of the aisle are in power, and we'll continue to do our very best.
And what regulatory issues are you facing right now in Washington?
Well, one of the big challenges we have as an industry is around sustainability and to continue to get our government support for investment to attract capital for sustainable aviation fuels. And I think that's something that we're going to, that's a long-term challenge. That's not based on the kind of short-term decisions on the Hill, but that we're going to continue to keep that focus.